Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here with some late night shenanigans, okay? I had to go and look out the window and see if there was a full moon out there because the sisters are cutting up real bad. So just two quick stories to give my opinion on. One is Lisa Raye and the surprise birthday visit by her sister DaBrat, and then the other is Nene Leakes and the whole Wendy Williams saga that seems to have intensified. So let's start with Lisa Raye and DaBrat. So first I want to say that I am always amused when you millennials out there learn something new. So when this story broke, it was evident that a bunch of y'all didn't know that Lisa Raye and DaBrat were sisters, and I believe they have the same father, not the same mother. But in any event, the show host of, and I really don't even like this show because it is so ghetto, that Fox Soul Conversations with the Queens or something like that. And it's one of those, I don't know if once COVID is over, they're actually going to be in a studio, but right now they're doing the whole Zoom thing, and I really can't get into the Zoom shows. I've actually stopped watching The Real because I just couldn't take that whole Zoom. And Wendy Williams was doing it from home, and then finally she got sick of it and was like, call me when we can get back in the studio because I'm not doing this anymore. It's stupid. So anyway, I believe it's Claudia Jordan, Lisa Raye, Vivica Fox, Selena Johnson, and isn't there one more person on there? Maybe it's just those four. But anyway, Lisa Raye's birthday was the other day, September 23rd. And really the way that she was carrying on, I had to go and see what the exact day was because she was acting a little bit how I be acting sometimes. Them Virgo tendencies come out. But she actually was born on September 23rd. And I believe that is the beginning of Libra season. If you are into astrology and believe in horoscopes, she probably was born like right at midnight or something, and she really should have been a Virgo. But anyway, so they're on the show, and then they bring in DaBrat, and I think DaBrat was the fifth image that I was seeing, and that's why I'm thinking that there should have been one more person. But anyway, DaBrat comes on and she wants to tell her sister happy birthday and that she loves her. She knows that they haven't talked in a while and she misses her, and then you could just tell she was uneasy and kind of nervous. And so Lisa Raye covers her face like she's crying. But if you are, one of them sisters that really can't hold your tongue and don't like surprises, especially surprises like this, you knew that she was biting her tongue because she was trying to keep from saying the wrong thing. And so Claudia Jordan, they're asking DaBrat to tell some stories, and she's basically saying she was the little sister, Lisa Raye was the big sister, and how, just telling stories about their relationship, what she loves about Lisa Raye and how, she respects her and she misses her, blah, blah, blah. So they're thinking that Lisa Raye is emotional and that she's overwhelmed with joy that her sister is there to wish her a happy birthday. Child, when they kept going on and on and on and on and on and not picking up on the clues, Lisa Raye finally spoke up and let it be known that her and DaBrat haven't talked in a while, that she is pissed off, that she, was being asked questions about DaBrat's engagement or relationship. DaBrat has long been suspected of being a lesbian, but she's never admitted it. And so she recently came out and she's engaged to this woman. And I'm not familiar with the woman they say her name is Jessica DuPart, but she goes by the name Judy, and she's a wealthy woman. She has some company, but she was happy. They posted a few pictures and everything, and everybody was happy that DaBrat was still, was finally standing in her truth. So Lisa Raye was basically in her feelings because I guess her and DaBrat hadn't talked in a while. Then DaBrat went public with this news, and then Lisa is being contacted, by bloggers and media people asking her, how does she feel about her sister coming out? And she's like, what are you talking about? And then she has to find out online this happy news that DaBrat has. And so she was livid, she was upset, and then she kind of felt ambushed. Like, I haven't talked to her in months, and then you're going to bring her on the show with this kumbaya moment. And so they finally picked up on the fact that Lisa was really, really pissed and there was no appeasing her. And so they thanked DaBrat for being there and, kind of got her off of the Zoom so that they could talk to Lisa. And so I can tell you from personal experience, when I am pissed off about something or you done came at me the wrong way, there's really no talking to me at that moment. The best thing to do is say, okay, I'll talk to you later, girl. And then wait for me to contact you and let you know that everything is okay. And I can see that Lisa Raye is that same type of person, because the more they were trying to talk to her and tell her, it's all about forgiveness, don't let all this time go by, mend this wound. Obviously, DaBrat was afraid to talk to Lisa one-on-one, and she felt more comfortable talking to her, with them as like a support system. But Lisa wasn't buying it because she was like, that girl has known me all her life, and she knows that this was not cool and that this was not the time nor the place for her to do this. And so they were trying to take the rap by saying, we had no clue that you guys hadn't spoken in months. We're thinking that the distance is because of COVID, and, you might be in different locations, and that's why, and we never really asked you about your sister and never paid attention that you talk about her. And so I kind of get the same feeling like with Lisa and DaBrat. I get those same vibes from the Mari twins, Tia and Tamara. There seems to be some tension between the two of them that they're not letting on about. And I was actually going to do a video earlier this summer where I was going to talk about how, they just seem to be very distant. You can tell, like, Tia likes and comments on all of Tamara's IG posts, but Tamara rarely ever likes or comments on Tia posts. And it was just like during, a few months ago in the height of COVID, it was real tense. And then there was a night when Tamara and her husband, they do a cooking show. They were doing this like every Tuesday, or I think they were doing it Monday through Friday, this cooking show. And then one night, Tia and her husband did a cooking show. And so the fans were in the comments, and they were trying to get the two of them to connect on IG and do a live together. And so Tamara was like pretending she wasn't seeing all them comments flowing by, telling her to add Tia to the IG live. She was just ignoring it till it got to the point where her assistant was basically like telling her, you need to acknowledge it. So then she pretended like she was trying to bring Tia into the Zoom, but Tia, wasn't there, or she wasn't accepting it. And I mean, that went on for about 30 minutes. And finally I left the IG because it was becoming a distraction, because it was obvious she didn't want to talk to Tia. So back to Lisa and DaBrat, I get that same vibe. I was getting that same vibe. And so the ladies on the show, they finally kind of figured out they need to leave Lisa Raye alone. And that moment came when Lisa Raye cussed them out. She was basically like, I said what I said, let it go. I mean, it wasn't in those words. She was cursing and carrying on. And so they finally realized, okay, this is an issue. They went to break, and then they came back, and they were apologetic and saying that they really didn't know how to handle the situation when they realized that she was really pissed. So I hope that Lisa and DaBrat, that they can come back together and figure this thing out. Both of them say that they love each other, that they support each other, but Lisa was more like, wrong is wrong, and you don't just get to come in here talking about happy birthday when you know you've done me wrong, that you haven't responded to my phone calls, and that, this thing is just going to have to play it out. And DaBrat was basically like, she knows Lisa. She knew Lisa was going to be pissed, but she still wanted to go ahead and come on the show and say happy birthday. So, I understand Lisa, because like I say, I am that person. And then my heart aches for DaBrat because she genuinely looked hurt that things unfolded and that Lisa, showed her behind, like she was afraid she was going to do. And so I'm just praying that they can mend that wound, because sister love is real love and we need our sisters. So now let's move over to Miss Nene Leakes. Okay, so you guys know Nene is no longer with the Real Housewives of Atlanta. There was some speculation that it was just for this season and she'll probably come back, in another season like she did before. But I think after this whole fiasco that's unfolding right now, Nene ain't gonna come back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. So Nene did a video where she basically said that they couldn't come to terms with her new contract, and so she had to do what was best for her and leave the show. Andy came out and basically was talking about, what an icon Nene is and what she did for Real Housewives of Atlanta and for the whole Housewives franchise on Bravo, and that he wishes her the best. He hated that they couldn't come to an agreement. And so earlier in the summer, there were rumors going around, and I think Eva Marcel even confirmed the rumor that Nene is trying to start a class action lawsuit against Bravo for harassment and discrimination. And so I couldn't understand why she was trying to re-sign her contract if she was planning on suing the people. But evidently she went through the whole contract process probably to get evidence, to support her claim that they are discriminating against the black women on the Bravo franchises, and giving better treatment and better pay to the women in the white franchises. And I believe that that's a part of why you're going to start seeing them trying to add black women to these all-white casts. I believe the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills added Giselle Bouvier, however you pronounce her name. Now there's reports that they're going to add a black lady to the main cast of Real Housewives of New York. And you guys know that there have been black women on there, but they were like friends of the show. But now they're supposed to be trying to get a full cast member. And this may be in response to Nene's unhappiness. Well, fast forward, Andy brings Wendy Williams. No, before that, let's back it all the way up. So during the height of COVID, there was some tension between Wendy and Nene. So they had already had problems in the past. They mended their fences. And so Nene used to do these lives on Instagram like every Friday or something like that, conversations with the Leakes or something. And so one night they were having trouble with IG, and she was trying to see if she could get people on, to see if the problem was on her end or if it was on other people's ends. So she called Wendy, and she basically told Wendy that she was live on IG and that she wanted to talk to her. And, if it was okay, to have this conversation. And so Wendy didn't want to talk, and, she kind of got off the phone real quick. Well, then Wendy did her show, and this is when Wendy was doing the Zoom shows. So she's doing her show, and then she brings up the fact that Nene had tried to ambush her and have her on this live without her permission, and how Nene is, like basically below her. And I can't remember the exact word that she used. It's in my head. I just can't come up with the exact term, but just basically saying that, Nene was trying to use her for the comeuppance, okay? And was trying to use her fame and her celebrity. But Nene had called several people trying to get them, to help her test this IG. So that was the first thing. And so Nene, you know, she was upset with Wendy and everything, but I think they eventually mended their fences and kind of like was getting back on track or whatever. But I think once somebody degrades you and pretty much let you know that they think you're beneath them, you know, you kind of let those people go head on, because now you know what they really think about you. So fast forward to Watch What Happens Live the other night. And I believe it was Sunday night, because I had watched Real Housewives of Potomac. So Andy, for some reason, you know, needs to just keep Nene's name out of his mouth. But for some reason, he asked Wendy what did she think about Nene leaving the show. So then Wendy was basically saying that she thought it was for a season and that Nene would probably come back. And then she went on this tangent about, you know, all Nene can really do is the Real Housewives of Atlanta. You know, like what other show could she do? And then she was like, you know, basically anything that she does, Nene and Greg is going to be boring. Nene and her kids is going to be boring. Nene and her grandkids is going to be boring. Just basically saying Nene doesn't have a life. All she's good for is being on the Real Housewives of Atlanta and being ratchet. So then Nene responds with a video basically saying, keep my name out of your mouth. And she didn't understand why, you know, Andy would even bring her name up to Wendy and why Wendy always has to be so negative about her. And she called Wendy a couple of names, I think. Let me look and see. What did Nene say? So she basically was saying, I don't have a friend that knows what I have been going through lately that would do this kind of thing to me. I don't have that friend that is around me. And then she went on to say, she does Andy Cohen's show, and here she sits speaking negatively of my exit and bringing my family into the equation. Now that's what you're not going to do, Wendy. So since I have been forced out of the franchise, then leave my name alone. Let me sit over here and heal in peace. Okay, leave me alone. And she was referring to Andy when she said that. And she reiterated anything positive to say about her working for Bravo after 13 years, then he should stop bringing up my name on your show to help with your ratings. You didn't want me here. You've been forcing me out for the last 4 years. There's no reason why you need to keep bringing me up and talking so negatively of me. If I don't mean shit to you, stop bringing up my name. Leave me alone. Let me live in peace. Let me leave in peace. Leave me alone. And you guys have been sitting here poking the bear over and over again. And so after her video, no one with Wendy's show or with Bravo or Andy Cohen himself commented on Nene's video. Well, then this woman, and I ain't gonna lie, I thought the woman was in the video. I thought she was Lil' Kim. And I was like, well, when did Lil' Kim and Wendy become really good friends? But child, is some woman named Malina. So she decided that, or Wendy sent her to speak up on Wendy's behalf. And she basically came out and said that when Nene and Wendy fell out before, that Nene contacted her and begged her to get her in touch with Wendy and to set up a meeting for Wendy. And she called Wendy, you know, to tell Wendy, you know, go ahead and talk to Nene. Nene didn't want to talk to her, but then she agreed to talk to Nene because she found out that Nene had already hopped on a plane and was on her way to New York to see her. And so she just really, really went low. And by the way, if you don't know who this lady is, she's on the show Growing Up Hip Hop New York. So she goes on her IG and says, why don't you talk about the part where when we was in the truck, you was letting French Montana touch all up your snatch? Do they call it snatch? I think it is. And then she went on to say a whole married woman, you know, referring to the fact that Nene and Greg are married. And so Nene did not take kindly to that, you know, but she kept her cool and basically went on her IG and she posted this picture where she's like looking in her purse and she's like looking for this cat that French Montana snatched. And then she did another post on her IG where she's looking at her phone and she says, John Doe with all these lies, say what now? I can't, you know. So she's like, basically, I'm not going to let you guys drag me down in the gutter with you. And I think that this is pretty tacky of Wendy. But Nene, if you haven't learned yet that Wendy Williams is not your friend, then I don't know what to tell you, girl, because she has shown you in so many ways that she is not trustworthy and that she does not have your back, and she would do anything for ratings. And that was one of the things that Nene called out. She was like, they're both, Wendy and Andy are seeking attention because both of their shows are tanking in the ratings. And you know, Andy has several shows on Bravo. So maybe she's saying that people aren't as infatuated with a lot of these shows, especially the Real Housewives and the Married to Medicine franchises as they were in the beginning. And I don't think the Married to Medicine franchises ever reached the level of Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then we know Wendy Williams has been going through ever since them people wanted to pull her endorsements for going to meet with R. Kelly and then refusing to tell them what her and R. Kelly talked about. She been going downhill emotionally, mentally, health-wise with the drugs and the drinking. Then, finally had to admit that her husband was cheating on her. So I don't know why Wendy's show keeps getting renewed, because it really, really isn't the show that it was when it started 10 years ago. So guys, that's it for me. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about this drama that's going on. Are you team Lisa Raye or team DaBrat? Or are you, in the other story, are you team Nene Leakes or team Wendy Williams? What do y'all think is really, really going on? And I think there is a full moon out there. And if it's not a full moon yet, it is on its way to being one. So everybody take it easy. Take a deep breath. Relate, relax, release. And until the next time, I'll talk to you guys later. And don't forget to like the video, share the video, leave a comment, and also remember to turn on the notifications. Talk to you guys later.